What's up, everybody? My name is Blake. This is Hobby Talk Army, and today I'm going to go over the light kit that I put in my most recent video of the Washed in the Blood livery on the 180SX. So you can find that video if you want to figure out how to build bodies. This is the car right here, and I'm going to go over the light kit that I have in here, how it works, what I used, how it is remote standalone unit, and I will have all the links down below in the description of what you can buy on Amazon, and you could get the exact same stuff that I used. It really helps me out if you use those links. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'll get you a better camera angle here, and we'll go over what's going on in this body. Alright, so let me show you what I've got under the hood here, or under the roof. So there's the circuit board, there's the LiPo, there's the switch, the wiring goes out to all the LEDs, it's nice, neatly taped to the roof of the car, and so that's pretty much it. Now I've got one of these circuit boards on hand here. Oh, I've got a bunch actually, but here's one, and I can show you some close-ups and how this guy works, if this camera will focus. Okay, alright, so we've got up top, battery, positive, negative. That's where your battery's going to go. You're going to solder your positive there, your negative there. Do not cut the LiPo wires at the same time. Cut the red one or the black one, put tape on it, cut the other one, put tape on it. When you're ready to solder, do one at a time. Otherwise, you're going to have a fire situation that you do not want. Alright? Okay, back to the video. Over here, this is the chip, I believe, that controls the rheostat, and you can adjust the voltage from 3 volts to 12. This dial right here is what you would spin to get higher voltage. It starts at 3, goes up to 12. Down here you have voltage out, so you got positive and negative for out. That's to your load, the LEDs being the load. Over here you have voltage in. You will not use these. I have not used them yet. You can see where the power all goes though, through these lines. So if you want to use them, you can, but that is not what I do. So for the voltage in, we will use the micro USB port. You just plug in a micro USB, it will automatically charge. This little red LED will light up, or I think it's over here. The red LED will light up, and then when it's charged, the green LED will light up. So, now that you know what that stuff does, this board is very simple. It's not hard to use, and it works great. I've been using these for a little over a year now. They're inexpensive. I'll put a link down below to where you can get them on Amazon. You get like 5 or 6 of them for about $10, I think. And you can see there, LiPo is on the bottom right, and my voltage out is to the LEDs. Now I run a ground side switch so that the load will absorb most of the amperage before the switch comes on. It just helps prevent your switch from taking a lot of the voltage or the amps. It'll just prolong the life of the switch here. So here's the switch without all of the heat shrink on it. So it's a 3-prong switch. You just choose either side and a middle one for your on. So see how the switch is on the left? That means the 2 left prongs are connected. If I were to switch it over to the right 2 prongs would be connected. So pick a side, that'll be your on side. The middle one is always going to be like the ground essentially, and then the one you don't use is the off side. If you really want to, you can carefully like snip one of those prongs off just so that you don't use it. And then what I did, since it's smaller down there, you can see I heat shrinked it. I just cut off these tabs because I wasn't going to screw this into anything, and then I just heat shrinked and wrapped it up all nice and neat so it just looked better. Also, that does help because these things are fairly cheap, and the heat shrink helps protect the little board there. A lot of bending, like if you were to pick this guy up and bend it around, eventually the little prongs could break off, so the added heat shrink will help stiffen it up and just prolong the life of the switch. Again, put it on the ground side. It'll just help you out That way when you turn it on, it's not like sparking and or whatever. It'll prevent that from happening, because the LEDs will take the voltage first, and then the ground is just completing the ground. One of these days I'll do a video on DC voltage and how it all works. So that's the switch, that's the circuit board. They're pretty easy to use. And now the wiring. This obviously takes some time, takes some experience to get it this neat. My first car was not like this. It was close, but it was not like this. So tips that I have, just really take your time, guys. Like, go in this knowing that it's gonna take you a few hours. Like, this kind of work here took me probably 5 to 6 hours. I just turned on a good movie, had it going, well, couple movies, and just kept soldering, took a break, you know. I liked cutting my tape into little squares. You don't have to do that. You know, nobody's gonna see this. This is just for my OCD, for my perfection, just to make me sleep better at night, you know. So what do? All the grounds can run into one ground. All the positives can run into one positive. So you can see I've got, let's see, the front headlight running down the driver's side, the other headlight running down the passenger side. We went down the A pillars just to tuck them in there, and then they all meet. Since the positive was down on this side, I had everything meet here. So that means I had to extend these ones around. I've got them coming in here, and anywhere I could, like when it met this positive here, I grouped these together. So all the reds and the white went together, so 3 and then into 1. And same with the grounds, all 3 grounds into 1. So right here there's like a big joint connector essentially, but I soldered it. This is soldered. Nothing is just twisted and left here. It's all soldered together. And then you've got same thing over here, 3 reds into this one white. So all positives. So now you've got 4 lights from the rear, 1 light from the front, all on this wire, and then the let's see, I'm running 6 lights, I think. Yeah, so the 6th light from the front, boom, right there. So now all 6 lights are positive here and run right up into that. Same thing with the grounds. You can see big junction here, big junction here. So it's all into one wire, because it is not a fun time trying to shove 6 wires into those tiny holes. Not a good idea either. So that, as long as you do it that way, you should get the same amount of power, same voltage, same amperage to all of the LEDs that you run. You could run a bunch of LEDs off this board. Like, honestly, you could probably run double this amount and be totally fine. The one thing you want to make sure you don't do, because I've done this to save time, to save time and save wires, it didn't work out for me very well. So, you see this little bump on the positive wire? That's a resistor. That needs to be there. Don't cut it out, nothing like that. So what I did was, instead of running this ground wire all the way back, I ran the ground wire straight to this LED here, okay, so that I could remove it, and then I ran my red wire straight to this LED here. Don't do that. It'll bypass this resistor. So basically, the voltage, or it won't bypass it, it just adds another resistor. So you got the voltage from this red wire coming through the resistor to the LED, and it's the perfect amount to turn the LED on. Then if you piggyback to this red wire in front of that resistor, now you've got 2 resistors to this second LED, and this second LED will then be way more dim. And so I've done that before because I just wanted to save weight. I wanted to have a cleaner look. I didn't want 4 wires running to the front, and so I just like piggybacked it off of that, and then my second light was more dim. It didn't look as good, and you could tell. So don't do that. Leave the resistor. Now if you wanted to save the weight and the wiring and just have less wires, you could connect this red wire behind it up here, and then that would give you the same equal 12 volts and the amperage to both LEDs. I didn't do that, but you can if you want. It's just the shorter the wires, the harder to work with, and all that jazz. I think the last thing to tell you about it is I use the provided Lexan, the Lexan light buckets, and the way that I mounted the lights into the light buckets was shoe goo. So clear shoe goo, it works great. You can actually remove it if you want to. You just kind of like scrape it off gently and nicely, and it should come right off. So it works great, it holds great. It's kind of like hardened rubber when it dries, and yeah, it turns out great, guys. No bad things to say about the shoe goo. Works really good. And so that's it, guys. Gives you a completely standalone unit so that you're not plugging in your body to the car every time. You can just flip it over, flip it on and off with a switch, charge it up. And these batteries, like I'm using like a 150 milliamp battery or something like that, maybe 300 milliamp. They last like hours. Like I've been able to run this body probably like for a 3-hour drift sesh, and I've had it on this whole video and it's still not dead, and I charged it up like 4 days ago. So they work great. Again, I will have all the links down below in the description. If you use those links, it'll really help me out, guys. And it's quality stuff, man. It's good stuff. I've been using it for over a year now and have had no issues. So thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really hope this helped you guys out. Here it is again. You can see they're actually pretty bright at 4 volts. But no dimness. They're all wired up correctly. And I just turn it right off. Boom. So there you go. Easy peasy. Let me know if you guys like this style of video. I've got other stuff that we can go over. Pop-up headlights, 3D printing, stuff like that. So let me know below what you want me to make a video on next, and I'll try and make it happen. God bless you all. Jesus loves you, and have a great day. Peace.